What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the first official Nintendo Memories newscast of 2025. I hope you guys are all doing well today, and I really just like this new format that I'm trying out just to allow me to put in a bunch of topics into one big episode and just to talk about it and just to engage with you guys and to also just have you guys in chat just coming in and I'll probably be right there with you and talking with you guys, and it's gonna be awesome. So welcome in. I hope you guys are having a amazing day. I can't think of a better way to start this episode off and than to talk about what an amazing 2024 Nintendo has had. I mean, yes, we basically had a bunch of ports, but it was a bunch of ports that people really did enjoy. Paper Mario Thousand Year Door was definitely one of my favorites. But not only that, we had some really big surprising reveals as well. We had The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. We had that surprise reveal, re-reveal I should say, of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in today's episode, but before we get into all this, I just want to just say thank you guys so much for all of your support. It really does mean so much, and if you're new to the channel and you're finding your way into the channel because of this premiere, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. The support truly does mean the world. So without further ado, I say we start off with what is Nintendo's plan for 2025. Nintendo's plan for 2025 is going to be really interesting, to say the least. And the first thing that really just jumps to mind is Nintendo is beginning the year off with basically cleaning house. And basically what I mean by that is they are taking every last bit of momentum that they can to get the current Switch to sell.
I like money.
And you can definitely see by the very first couple of games that they are releasing this year. The first being Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. And I know there's a lot of people wondering, you know, is this going to be worth the $60 price point? I'm going to be quite honest, that's not really a day one get for me, but for big Donkey Kong Country fans, go for it. I know a lot of people would much rather Nintendo go and make a brand new Donkey Kong game. So in all honesty, I don't think that's necessarily a win for Nintendo, but I don't think it's a loss for them either. They're definitely going to make something off of it, but you know, I think there would have been a lot more excitement if Nintendo had announced a brand new game of sorts. But on the flip side, Nintendo did announce that Xenoblade Chronicles X is finally coming to the Switch. Yes, this is a game, from what I understand, has been requested for a long time. Ever since Nintendo started porting all of basically the best from the Wii U, people have been requesting Xenoblade Chronicles X. Why isn't Xenoblade Chronicles X come? Well, it's finally coming, and now, basically, from what I understand, every single Xenoblade game is on this system. And now all we need is Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Nintendo, you've heard the requests, right?
Just do it!
I know you're up there, you see the Twitter posts, you see the YouTube videos, you're probably watching this one right now. But if you have seen the outcry from the Xenoblade community, why have you not done this with Zelda? Come March, every single Xenoblade game will be on the Switch. It just makes total sense. If they would bring Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD over to the Switch, every single big 3D Zelda would be on one system, which honestly I think is what they're aiming to do, but they're just slowly, you know how Nintendo is. They're basically drip feeding and dragging this whole thing out as long as they possibly can. I really hope we get Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD one day. It would be amazing because then I could finally unplug my Wii U. It's sitting right over there in the corner, sad little corner. And I have to admit, the fact that they're still porting games at this stage of the Switch's life cycle, it gives me a little bit of hope. Not a lot, but definitely a little bit. But while Nintendo is beginning this year with ports, there's no doubt about it, we can all feel it. The Switch 2 reveal is imminent, and so many people are wondering when this thing's gonna get revealed. And I'm finally saying it on the channel, guys, after so many years of just dodging the rumors, not giving a care about what they're saying. Of course, I still don't really read much of the rumors because, you know, nobody has correctly predicted or called the actual reveal date. Nobody has.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
I have been keeping a close eye of what Nintendo has been saying. Nintendo, the actual makers of the thing, have said that we can expect a reveal between now and March 31st of 2025. And I think the timing of this reveal is going to be really interesting because, like I said at the very start of this episode, they're starting the year off with a bunch of ports. We got Donkey Kong, then we got Xenoblade, Donkey Kong in January, Xenoblade in March. Where is this Switch 2 reveal going to fall? Because one thing's for certain, once people see this better hardware, better games, much more excitement is going to be around this thing, people aren't going to care about the ports. a select few might, but the majority will not. Personally, I see the Switch 2 being revealed around February. I think January is a little too soon. I think March is a little bit too late. I think February falls into the perfect timing for them to reveal something, also because February is usually when they hold their Nintendo Directs at the very beginning of each year. So the fact that they would use that time for the reveal of their next piece of hardware and unveiling kind of the launch lineup and kind of the schedule of when things are going to start rolling out throughout the rest of the year makes a whole lot of sense to me.
He's got a point.
I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. I know this is a premiere video, so the chat, let me know below. I'm sure I'll be in there with you, talking with you guys. So let me know what you guys think. And since we're talking Switch 2, there's no better game that I want to talk about right now than Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yes, this is the year, guys. This is the year of Metroid Prime 4. And I am so excited. And I don't know about you guys, but this game has been a long time coming. And I think I speak for all Metroid fans when I say this game needs to do well. Not just for our sake, just for us to have a lot of fun as players, but for Nintendo's sake. I mean, I'm sure maybe this happens behind closed doors all the time that we just don't know about, but Metroid Prime 4 is one of the first times I have actually ever seen Nintendo get on screen in a video presentation like form and say, guys, this game is not ready. After 2 years of work, after 2 years of hard progress, we are going to take all the work that we have put into this thing, and basically we're going to scrap it all. We're going to scrap every last bit of it, and we're going to start over. Guys, I don't know how much, you think about just the financial side of all that. The amount of money that they basically had to throw down the drain to basically say, we're going to start completely from scratch. I don't know the budgets. I don't know what goes on basically on the money side of things when it comes to Nintendo and how they make their games. But I can imagine this particular game, Metroid Prime 4, is probably their most expensive project to date. The fact that they spent 2 years working on this thing and then took all of that hard progress that developers did do on it, whether it was good progress or bad progress, up for debate. It was progress, it was work done by developers, work that costs a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, and all of that is being shoved down the drain. And whenever you start over like that, that's a lot of money that's basically been wasted.
Wow.
So I'm really hoping, for not just our sakes, but for Nintendo's sake as well, that this game does really well, that they will profit from it, and that they will basically see that the Metroid series is as big and can be as successful as the likes of Zelda, as the likes of Mario. But I know the big thing that people are wondering now that we're in the year of 2025 is, when can we expect the game to release? Personal prediction, I think this game is going to release no later than May. I don't think that they tease this game all the way back in June of 2024 and have us wait all the way to the holiday season of 2025. It just doesn't sit right with me. And plus, another reason why I think May fits the release timing for this game perfectly is because I actually think that is when the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to launch. I don't think it's going to release in March like a lot of leaks are saying it's going to. I think it's going to release a little bit later, because once we get the trailer, the reveal, so to speak, we will have, it'll probably have a release date on it. And usually for the Switch, if it follows the same release style as the Switch did, what ended up happening is that Nintendo Switch presentation that happened, we had that presentation, it was awesome, it was epic, and then the system released 2 months later. If we get a presentation or reveal sometime between February, or if they do it in March, 2 months later, we're looking at around an April or a May release. And so having Metroid Prime 4 be a launch title for both that system as well as the current system, since we know this thing is backwards compatible, which I've been calling for so long, I think it just makes total sense. All the signs are pointing towards it, the fact that it was going to be backwards compatible. So I'm really glad Nintendo decided to go that route. It just makes total sense. And since we're talking about the Switch 2, that leads me the perfect time to talk about just what does Nintendo need to do to set this thing apart from the Switch. And I'll be quite honest, I don't think they really need to do a whole lot. Just present a system that still has some of the same gimmicks, being able to take it with you on the go and play it however you want, wherever you want.
Don't be an idiot.
But the one thing that is going to definitely persuade people and wow people this time around is power. And I have to say that wholeheartedly. I mean, I've never been a person who's been so analytical of the power of a system, of a console per se, but for this system, it definitely matters, because a lot of what has happened towards as the system has aged is people have been complaining more that, you know, there's more frame drops, there's more inconsistencies with how the games look. Power is everything when it comes to this next system. Not only power, but the games. There needs to be a game day one that people want. One of the reasons why I think the Switch did so well on day one is because Breath of the Wild was there. If Breath of the Wild was not there, there would not have been a lot of people buying the Switch. I just don't believe that, because other than Breath of the Wild, on day one, we had 1-2 Switch, we had Super Bomberman, we had Snipper Clips, I think, that came out. There was not a lot of games to get on day one. Zelda was it, and that was the big game that was built up for March 3rd. All the other games, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, all those games were much further down the line. All that was there was Zelda and a couple of other smaller games. We had 1-2 Switch, which not really my thing. I didn't get it on day one. We need a day one game that people are definitely going to get. And since Zelda is definitely not ready, there's no doubt the next 3D Zelda game is definitely not ready and is definitely not coming this year. What other series could definitely push consoles? Well, that would be the Mario series. We have not had another big grand 3D Mario since Super Mario Odyssey, since 2017. That is insane. The fact that we've gone 8 years without a brand new Mario game, which tells me two things. One, is definitely being saved for the system, but two, this next big 3D Mario game is probably going to be massive. I look back to Bowser's Fury, which we got in 2021, and one of the things that really struck me about that game is not only was it a lot of fun, but this game seems very much like a testing grounds as to what the next big 3D Mario game could achieve if it were to go full open world. And while we did get kind of a small little mini open world to play around in Bowser's Fury, I was like, if the next big 3D Mario just takes this concept and blows it up times 500 or 1,000, we could be getting a big 3D Mario map, the likes of which that Breath of the Wild had. Could you imagine like a big, huge, explorable Mushroom Kingdom? Like, it would be humongous. It would be amazing. The moment people see it, people would be like, Nintendo, take my money. I will be there day one to buy the game and the system day one if this game is not only announced as a launch game, but the fact that it's announced as just the next big 3D Mario game, the next big open world game, it will sell systems. It will sell like hotcakes.
Tell them to bring me my money.
Yeah! As far as the next Zelda game goes, I actually think while it's not releasing this year, it's definitely not releasing this year, I definitely think we are going to get some kind of teaser for the next big Zelda game this year. The reason why I think that is because in 2017, of course, we got the release of Breath of the Wild, and then in 2019, E3 2019, we got the official teaser for Tears of the Kingdom, which at that point was the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom released in 2023, it is now 2025. Whether it's during the summer or maybe during the last directs of the year, I actually think sometime this year we are going to get some kind of teaser for the next big Zelda game. Is it going to have a release date in this trailer? Absolutely not. Will the game probably get delayed a couple times? Absolutely. Does Nintendo have a history of revealing things a little too soon? Yes, they do. And I have a feeling that they're going to want to show, especially with this new hardware, where the futures of Zelda and Mario and Metroid are all going. All their big franchises. Splatoon. I think we're going to get trailers for all those games. Animal Crossing. We're going to get some kind of update for all of their franchises going forward. This next thing I'm going to talk about is a bit of a bold prediction, but I really do think that by the time Switch 2 is out and it is running its course like the original Switch, I do believe that every console, every big game from every past Nintendo console will be on one system. And the reason why I say that is because of Nintendo Switch Online. When Nintendo Switch Online launched, it launched with a lot of controversy. There was a lot of people saying, you know, is this really worth it? People weren't really digging the idea, but as time has gone on, it has slowly gained more and more and more value. And that's largely due to the access that people are given to past games. NES, SNES, N64. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance. We're still waiting on GameCube. We're still waiting on DS. But the fact remains, Nintendo is slowly bringing all of that over. Like, I never thought, like, I remember there were rumors for a long time after SNES dropped that N64 was coming, N64 was coming. And it finally did. It took them a long time, but it finally came. And the same thing was happening with Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, that it's eventually coming, it's eventually coming. And finally, Nintendo dropped it. And now there's certain rumors stating, you know, maybe GameCube's coming, maybe DS is coming. And I'd like to think that by the time Nintendo is done with this new system and it's running its course, that basically all of their libraries would be on one central platform. It's basically their version of Disney Plus in a way. Disney has all of their libraries, all of their things on one streaming service. Would not be surprising if you could have access to all of Nintendo's history in one place on one system with their online subscription service. And really and truly, that is where I see it going. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But personally, I think Nintendo would be a fool not to do that.
You crazy!
More news that we can expect this year is the news and updates on the movie side of Nintendo. And yes, I'm really happy that Nintendo has decided to delve more into film, bring their characters into movie theaters. It's been so, the Mario movie blew me away. I'm sure for every single one of you out there who are watching who are Nintendo fans, I'm sure the Mario movie blew you away too. And that's why I'm really excited, because we are definitely probably going to get trailers for its sequel. Probably later in the year, probably towards the end of the year. And I think we're definitely due for an update on the Zelda movie, even if it's just a cast reveal. It's kind of similar to how they did with the Mario movie, where they don't show any trailers, they don't show any footage, but they just reveal who's playing which character. And I think that's definitely needed for the Zelda movie, especially since there's a lot of doubt right now since it's being done in live action. I know a lot of people want it animated. I personally want it animated. If they can do right by live action and make it look like Hyrule, make it feel like Hyrule, make it look and feel like Zelda despite being live action, I'm cool with it as long as they cast the right actors and they just make it look and feel like Zelda. That's all I really want. A lot of people were really worried about that with Mario in the beginning when they announced that Chris Pratt was going to play Mario. Like, is this going to look and feel like Mario? And eventually, you know, it wasn't too bad. And a lot of people right now are kind of in that same boat with the Zelda movie. They're like, who is going to play Link? Is this going to feel like Zelda even though it's in a live action world? And I'm really hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope they do right. But I do think we're going to hear updates on both movies this year. I think we're definitely going to get a trailer for the sequel to the Mario movie later at the end of this year, and I think we're going to get some kind of cast update on the actual Zelda film. I think in a Nintendo Direct, Aonuma will come on screen and he'll announce, kind of like Miyamoto did, who's playing which character, and I think it would be absolutely amazing. Guys, at the end of the day, 2025 is going to be a roller coaster for Nintendo fans. I know we're kind of starting off slow with some ports, you know, Donkey Kong and Xenoblade, but then once Nintendo drops that first teaser or official trailer for the Switch 2, it is going to be just go time. From the moment they drop that teaser to the point it releases, just onward. As long as Nintendo continues to keep the momentum. Metroid Prime 4, the next big 3D Mario, there's so much potential once this new system drops. Lots of franchises that were dormant are probably finally going to come back into the talking point, like Kirby, like Animal Crossing, so many things, Super Smash Brothers. There's no telling what Nintendo could do, and that is where I now want to turn it over to all of you. What do you guys think about all of just the craziness that's going to surround Nintendo this year? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for tuning into this newscast, and thank you guys so much for all your support, and until the next video or next live stream, take care, everyone.